Troy Kearns, real estate investor, and I am here today, and I've got a very special guest, somebody who actually inspired me to launch my YouTube channel by watching their progress. And I didn't tell her that yet, but her name is Dara Abasuté. I know I stumbled that. Go ahead and correct me.
No, you got it right. You got it perfect.
Okay, perfect. So I'm excited to have you here today. It's been hard to pin each other down. We're both pretty busy people, it sounds like. You are a lot of things. One of the things that you are that inspired me was a really, really good education provider in terms of documenting your real estate experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I really appreciate you finding me, reaching out to me, and actually having this finally set up. So I'm very interested. I'm very glad to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I've got a bunch of questions for you. First of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, where you came from? Just tell us about who you are.
Well, yeah, I'll start with the fact that I'm currently in Atlanta, born and raised here, and I am a 90s baby. So gauge the age there, if you will. Okay. But I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, and then after living in Pittsburgh for 4 years, came back to Atlanta. And literally from that point is when I started my real estate career, or my journey, career, whatever you want to call it. And it was not anything ever in my cards. It was not anything ever like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be in real estate. You know, it was just an opportunity presented itself. And I took advantage of that opportunity. You know, so my past life, I thought I was going to be a physical therapist. That's completely not in the question anymore.
Okay, all right.
Here we are, like you said, doing a lot of things.
Right. So that was actually one of my questions was, did you go to college? And if so, do you regret it?
Regret to me is a strong word. So I wouldn't say I regret it, but I would have avoided it. It definitely would have avoided it if I know what I know now, if I was exposed to it, like lots of other things. Because when I think about it, none of the things that I do require a college degree.
Right. And so the inspiring thing for me was like, first of all, YouTube is way tougher than I expected. Let me just tell you that. I have done a lot of things. I consider myself a very successful person, and I'm pumping out videos like there's no end and growing like by a microorganism every day. So your growth on YouTube itself just tells me that you dig into the details and you master stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you what I did to see growth, but I think there's also like maybe something underlying that maybe I don't know or can't control. But yeah, so I started my YouTube channel, I want to say it was probably like 2019, I think. And originally it had nothing to do with real estate. So I was doing real estate at the time, but my YouTube videos had nothing to do with real estate. So another thing I didn't mention is I'm Nigerian American. So okay. Both of my parents were born and raised in Nigeria, and they speak a language called Ibibio.
Ibibio, okay.
Yeah. Growing up, my siblings and I did not learn that language. So till today, I don't speak that language, and I kind of barely understand it. So I say that to say that those were my videos. I was literally, as an adult, learning a brand new language with my mom. Sometimes my dad would poke into videos too. So that was it. It was me learning the language and thought that it was a sharing opportunity for those out there who are also like me, who don't know the language but want to learn. So those were my initial videos on my channel. And if you go back, you could still see that before the real estate peaked, those were like maybe 3 or so videos on that.
Well, I saw you had two channels. You have one that's like dance and one that's real estate. And it's got like dance, hairstyle, something else. What's that?
And travel.
Travel. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
The 3 on that one. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's hear about both channels. So okay. So I'm gonna ask this. So were you not financially motivated when you started YouTube?
I was 100% financially motivated.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So when I started it, okay, the BBO videos, no, there was no financial motivation. It was literally just me wanting to share. Hey, I'm doing this. I thought it'd be cool if you wanted to learn too. It was just so impromptu. The very first video was so impromptu that I was like, oh my, let's do this again. Like to actually schedule it and script it in a way and organize these recordings and then share it. So Dara Abasuté is my first channel. That's my real estate channel and a sprinkle of eBBO videos. That's what that is. I do some DIYs, but most of it is educational about real estate investing. So that when I saw that that was gaining traction and my subscriber count was growing, I did a lot of research, like you said. I did do research on how to grow a channel, how to monetize a channel, what are the behind the scenes numbers and things like that. So right. I think, and it's still on that channel, I did a video on hair on the main real estate channel, just to see, could I do, originally I wanted 5 topics on one channel. So I did this hair video.
You have lots of interests.
Right. And I just want to share it all. I don't know.
That's good.
And the hair video, initially, I don't know, it was just up there and not much came from it and that's what happened with most of my videos that have like get so much success and so many views. Originally, and I never put it out for the views. I never put it out like, oh, I can't wait for this to have 15,000 views or something like that. I just put it out and whatever happens, happens. So that hair video now is my most viewed video on my channel.
Wow.
So I think when it hit maybe like 10,000 or 5,000 views, that's what made me realize, okay, I have to separate this. Like it was great. Then I tried a travel video or something like that. Right. The travel video did horribly on my main channel. So like, right. Okay, let me separate these things because people come here really just for my real estate.
You're going to confuse them.
Yeah. So when I mix and mingle different things, they're like, oh, we don't care.
They're like, okay, I'm here for real estate.
Yeah.
For the hair products.
We didn't care for, we didn't come here for that. So that is why I started my second channel. And I kind of feel like how you said about like you're pumping out content and then you're growing microscopically. So I just thought that, oh my gosh, everybody who loves me for my personality and giving them tips on real estate, they're going to just come follow the other channel because it's my lifestyle and they'll get to know me a little differently in that way. But it's a completely different audience. So that channel has grown a lot slower, but I was doing the exact same things. My main channel, just to give you a little bit of insight in some of the ways that I grew it so quickly or how it grew. When I realized I wanted to get serious about monetizing and growing, I was pumping out 3 videos a week. So I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or some type of schedule that I was on, 3 videos a week consistently. So I saw that was gaining traction. Of course, it's kind of like any type of social media where you have to have the right type of tags. You have to write a decent description and all these different keywords that are the algorithm is going to know, okay, these people want to see this video or this user, so we'll pump it out.
So I watched some of your videos. I was a fan. I know you had like some intro. It was pretty cool. If you're new.
Oh yeah.
I remember in my head, like when I was going through it, I thought it was a pretty little catchy thing, Yeah. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I am. And that was something random too. So my first few videos, I didn't even come up with that yet. And then when I finally did, I was like, oh, that's cool.
I tried something like I'm coming to you hot and fresh, and I just thought it was too much condiment, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm ditching that. So
yeah,
it still appears occasionally, but so okay. So you mastered YouTube, and I think, one of the things that I think is cool about you is you're into a lot of different things, and I am too. And so I recognize like that your interests are taking you to your profit center. So how did your interest take you into real estate after going to college for physical therapy, I'm assuming, and then coming back and moving back home to Atlanta and going, all right, it's time to get into the job market. I've been there myself. I went to Central Washington University, graduated, and then, and so what brings you into real estate?
What brought me into real estate? So I got my 4-year degree. And with a 4-year degree, you can't practice physical therapy. So you need more schooling, 3 more years, and you have to get a doctorate in physical therapy. So after I graduated undergrad, I knew I strategically planned to take a year off between school. So in that year, I was just doing literally anything. I was a camp counselor, just odd things here and there. I started acting.
Yeah, so anything to make a buck.
Yeah. Just all types of different experiences. But while I was doing that, I'm applying to schools, taking GRE and stuff like that. So long story short, it was just the cards that were dealt to me. I didn't get accepted into any of the graduate schools that I applied to. And so I think this was November, December-ish of whatever year that was, when I got maybe like my third no. I applied to, I think, 6 schools. My third no, so halfway through the answers, the decisions, I was like, something, it doesn't feel right, something doesn't feel right. And then I was literally driving with my mom. We heard something on the radio, like an ad about a real estate guru coming to town. It was free, so why not? So we went to the free, the come on, like, hey, we'll teach you a little bit and then pitch you on a 3-day weekend. So when we went to the free event, my mom and I, it was very just eye-opening. It was something I personally had never known anything about real estate.
Right. Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
Oh yeah, these checks, you can do this in 2 weeks and flip a house. And we were just so excited. So from there, it was just like momentum. The interest, the excitement was just building. And so we went to the 3-day weekend. We didn't end up purchasing whatever course or package they were selling. But from there, I was like, okay, well, I got to figure out how to learn this one way or another. I'm not going to spend $50,000 on this course.
Right.
To learn it one way or another.
There's other cheaper courses, freer resources. These guys are just going to try to condense time.
Yeah. So it was really just one of those things, like, and it sounds so cliche, but this is the only way I know how to explain it. It's like one door closed and another one open.
Right. It's like adversity met you and failure met you. Arguably, it's like, when you're like, I went to 4 years of college. I got 3 no's and probably like me, student debt. Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then another opportunity opens up, which is much better. Had that other one opened up, you might take another left turn in your life that you wouldn't be where you are today.
There's no way. I can't even picture what I would have been like. It's funny that you say that. You said failure or not, because I did kind of like, I don't know. I didn't really hesitate. I wasn't like, oh, I got rejected from every program, let me just try again. And most people probably would, which is great. I don't think either way is wrong.
Right.
You
just knew it wasn't for you. You had made another, you're like, all right, I'm over this.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next thing.
Very thankful for the no's.
Right. Yeah. 100%. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you went to the seminar. That's cool. Cause I go to every free seminar still. I drag my wife just cause I learned something, like, and I'm like, whatever. Yeah. And she's always like, well, why do you go? You know a lot of this stuff. But it's inspiring still. And you always gotta inspire yourself no matter where you're at in your career.
Very, very true.
So whose was it that you went to? Was it like Fan Miro? Was it like, okay. Oh yeah. He's been blowing up the radio for like 10 years.
Yeah, it was Stan Merrill. And kind of like you said, even after that first free webinar, or it was in person back then, but after that, I did continue to go. My mom and I, knowing full well we were not going to purchase the course, but we did continue to go for
lots of information. That's what you should do. Yeah, just learn. And if they're good enough at selling what they want to sell, you'll buy it.
Yeah. And we use it as a networking opportunity, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's hard.
People who are like green behind the ears and doe-eyed like we were. And that's when I had my YouTube channel. I was like, no, I'll teach you.
Wolves amongst sheep.
Yeah. So that was an interesting experience too, just going after we've done, got our feet wet in the business.
So you got in. What was your first deal? What did that look like? Tell me about your nerves. You're obviously a pretty confident person. You're pretty sure of yourself. You've started lots of different things. You're not afraid of rejection. You're not afraid of failure, which is going to make you successful no matter what you do. You know that because that's what you're doing right now. So that's why you're on here, is because I think that if people see you and maybe they're younger, they see me, they're like, oh, okay, I can't obtain that. They say you, a young person, just crushing every goal that's in front of them. And like really arguably, I mean, listen, I got a lot of properties. I don't have as many subscribers as you do. And that just shows you that how obtainable that is for anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm paying a lot. a lot of money per month for editors, a lot of money, you know, and I know you, that's the other question I forgot to ask you. Were you editing all your own videos too?
Yes.
Yeah. I've never edited a video.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, and so for my real estate channel, I told myself, it was just like, hey, you're talking to a camera, you're a teacher, you're teaching. So there's
Right.
not much fanciness, like transitions and color. There's not much to it. That's why that's something I can do.
Right.
You know, if I said 500 times, just cut out all the ums. And
Right.
that's it. I didn't cut out much, you know, so I was like, that's easy. Just edit your videos and call it a day.
Which is another reason why people should just jump on and just figure it out, because like, I'm just trying, for me, it's a financial goal. I'm like, if I could build the audience, you know, Ryan's a very good friend of mine. He unveiled some things about the opportunities it provides and all these great, wonderful things. And I'm like, well, I just got to get to work and make up for lost time. So that's why I'm pumping out videos. You know?
Yeah.
So
I honestly think you'll get there. Traction will definitely pick up.
Well, yeah, I've heard from people it takes, you know, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. So I was thinking a year, and that's off the radar now. So
Oh.
I'll just keep at it. But let's go back to your story with, so what's your first deal look like? Let's walk through the whole thing. Like, you obviously figured out something. What kind of marketing did you use? What did that whole deal look like? Can you take us through that first deal?
Yeah, and absolutely. And I don't think it was mentioned quite yet, but I started out wholesaling. So for those who are watching, yeah. So Than Merrill, he pitched a lot of different things, but primarily wholesaling. So that's how I started.
So your first deal is a wholesale deal.
Correct.
Awesome. That's the best way to start in real estate, 100%.
Yes, and it was life-changing. It was eye-opening. If you look on my channel, I do have a story time where I'm like really dramatic about this first deal. But like I said, I'm in the Atlanta market. All the marketing that I did to start out was, for the most part, handwritten postcards,
right,
or yellow letters. And so I have a family of 6, so 3 other siblings and 2 parents. And I told you I started with my mom. So she and I, like, you know, we would wake up, clock in, and write our postcards.
Wow. Like handwritten, not like
handwritten, until I realized, like, okay, wait, there's other ways to like.
Well, good for you. Listen, that's just hard work. That's grit, you know?
Yeah. And so it was like, okay, well, you only have a hand, I have a hand. So I got my brothers to start writing and stuff like that. And like I said, until I realized, okay, there's an easier way to do this. So yeah, it was direct mail. And then in that time frame, right from the day we started to the day I got my first deal, direct mail. And then we did some cold calling as well. So the very first deal was this woman. She had a house in the west end of Atlanta, which at the time, they were building this path called the Beltline. So even till today, the Beltline is like the buzzword of Atlanta. So it's a very lucrative area. It was an up and coming area. So we got it right, you know.
That's the circle that goes around Atlanta, right?
So it's kind of like a path, like a bike walk trail.
Right.
Hike kind of thing. Yeah. And it's supposed to connect several different neighborhoods around the very large city of Atlanta.
Yeah, we actually looked at investing in Atlanta in 2010. So I've been there several times. It's a booming city. It's for sure got a lot of real estate opportunities. I saw that firsthand. It's a great place to make money for sure. So you got your first, so you're doing your first wholesale deal. You're sending out mail. You get somebody who bites.
Yes. And she lived, I think, 2 hours away from Atlanta. The house was, I think, a probate situation. I know her father passed and left her the house, but it wasn't probate in the fact that we didn't do anything probate related. It was just on our list. It was just the abandoned vacant home.
Right.
So we didn't like pull probate leads or anything. It just so happened that that's what her situation was.
Wonderful.
So yeah, we met her halfway, so an hour in between. We met at a McDonald's. It was her and her son.
Bye.
Yeah, it was her and her son, me and my mom. So I had a mentor at the time.
Okay, great.
Like a one-on-one mentor. So he knew all the details of this. I was so nervous because I was just like, you know, this is it. It wasn't my first appointment.
So you brought him a deal. You brought the deal to somebody who knew how to close it.
Well, no. So he's like, I'm going to teach you how to fish. He was that kind of mentor.
Okay, great. Awesome.
So, yeah. He was like, these are the steps, do them, you know?
Okay. Awesome.
So he wasn't involved like financially in that transaction at all. but he did go like break into the house with me, because the day we were supposed to meet up with the homeowner, you know, something happened. So she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. That morning, she's like, I can't make it to the appointment. So he was like, we're getting in. And we found our way so we can get pictures and things like that of the house.
You got to do what you got to do when you're buying a house from somebody, you know, it's okay usually.
Right.
You
But
know,
this, I was just like, okay. So after we did that, my mom and I met with her at the McDonald's an hour away, did our negotiations, and then signed right then and there. And then I had my poker face on. You know, we were very friendly, but I had my poker face on. The moment we left, I called my mentor so excited.
right. You're like, I'm there.
Yeah.
That feeling is exhilarating. I know exactly what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
it's when you realize, because you basically accounted a check right there, and you're just like, I just got to go cash that check and take this.
Yep. In your head, like, wow.
So was it a decent check, the first one?
It was a very decent check, especially to be the first one. And I don't like to like cry over spilled milk or shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it was a huge learning experience because it could have been a much bigger check.
Right. That's it. Yeah, but you learn, money teaches, especially lost money.
Yeah, because the way that deal sold so fast, that should have been an indicator to me. Like, oh, this was
time to take it off the market. And you know, real estate is that way, you know, and you know, you're learning and you're young and you're brave enough to get started. Most people don't even start, and that's the most inspiring thing. And you know, some people, like my first 2 deals were not good money makers at all, so I didn't make money, you know. So you made money, your appetite's on now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens after that?
Okay, so that I think we like framed the check. No, I'm kidding. But we definitely put that money right back into the business, like everyone says. You know, I'm just following the steps that I literally, because I know it had been done before by somebody. I was like, I'm just gonna do exactly what these people are telling me. So we reinvested that money and moved on. So we were doing, you know, wholesale operation for a good chunk of time. Before I even hit a 1 year in the business, I had done my first subject to deal.
Right. Okay.
But at the time, you know, I guess what I realized with real estate investing, titles are like a very big thing for the most part. So like wholesaler. So I was a wholesaler who did a subject to deal, and it was just like, you know, you're an investor. You know, so I don't like when people are too harped or bogged down on a title.
Yeah, wholesale is for a lot of time before YouTube and before other people like really made a name for himself. It was kind of like the car salesman / you know, it had a negative connotation, not a positive connotation. And the reality is that realtors, and I happen to be a realtor, licensed realtor in the state of Nevada, aren't doing that type of work. They're not prospecting those type of leads. They're not going and recirculating, and wholesalers are necessary component to the real estate deal machine that is the United States of America, you know?
Right. I agree. So yeah, I did, I think one of my first, I think 5 deals was a subject to deal. While I'm still doing wholesaling. And that's another testament of like
learning.
Yes. You know, don't feel like you have to know 100% of everything before you get into it, because when I tell you, I don't even know how that happened. The seller bought whatever I was coming out my mouth saying, and I had no idea if it made sense or not.
Sounded good.
Yeah, but it worked.
The difference, you know what the thing is? You knew way more than they did already.
Right.
Even though you didn't know as much as you wanted to know, you knew way more than they did.
Mm-hmm. And I made it make sense. I made it sound trustworthy, and he went for it. So that was amazing. So that was that one we still own to this day. But at the time, you know, it's all about a learning experience. At the time I got the deal, and I was so wholesale minded that I was like, okay, who do I flip this to? Who do I flip this subject to contract to?
Right.
And then, you know, one thing or another happened. So we were just like, no, we're going to hold on to it. We turned into a rental property. And then currently we turned it like flash forward. Now it's an Airbnb.
So you got it. So you got an Airbnb, you're doing wholesaling deals, you're documenting your journey through YouTube. Now you're a businesswoman. You went to school to become a physical therapist, somebody who cares for people, and now you're a businesswoman. So what does Dara do on a day-to-day basis right now? What are your short-term goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What does it look like in 50 years? You know what I mean? What are your long-term and short-term goals is what I'm really getting at.
So yeah, that is a great question. I definitely see me riding real estate till the wheels fall off and trying a lot of different things in real estate. So, started off doing wholesaling, single family rentals, long-term rentals. Now we've graduated into short-term rentals, and that's kind of where my laser focus is.
Right.
So I'm just gaining more and more. And I kind of got an appetite for property outside of the United States, because everything I've ever done was here in Atlanta. But because, like you said, like I travel and I stay in Airbnbs and I'm here and I'm in there, and I'm just like, well, what does it take to get one of these in a different country?
Which country?
Colombia is one.
Perfect. Great
Yeah.
location to do an Airbnb. No rules.
Right. So that's definitely on the horizon when you ask for a short-term goals. Definitely want to do that. So with Airbnb, that's hospitality, like the service to others. And another thing I tried as a caveat is event spaces. So with my current lodging homes with furniture, I was like, well, we're in Atlanta. People film all day, every day. That's all you do here. Entertainment is growing. So I have homes that now you can film in. It could be a set for your movie, your short film, your web series, whatever the case is. So that kind of got my toe into the event space atmosphere of real estate. So as far as me venturing off into commercial, I used to say like, oh, I want to own apartment buildings and things like that. I don't think that's, if it happens, great, but I don't think that's any more of my focus to own and operate 200 some odd doors in an apartment building. I like Airbnb and I like event spaces for certain reasons.
And you're not wrong. It's a much, I moved my whole family to Kansas City like less than a month ago because of the opportunities out here. And the Airbnb, we're literally on our way to Florida. Okay. I closed on a piece of land out here. We're building a brand new house there. And I'm closing on a piece of land in Naples, Florida. And like, literally we'll be building that house by the time we're moving out of here. We'll be moving into that one. So it's like, I understand exactly what you're going through. And you're having like an identity crisis a little bit because and I just had it like, I was stuck in Vegas as a realtor mindset, but I've been investing really hardcore for 5 to 10 years. And I'm not a realtor anymore, but because I made so much money in a short period of time, I still have that like, hey, I'm going to miss out on something.
Yeah.
And so I think that you're not going to miss out on anything. We're headed into the shared space, the shared everything, and people are creatures of comfort. Technology is not going away. Event space, they want instant, they want you to provide it for. And the reason I said all that is I went and met with a builder the other day on a downtown building, and he's told me how much money he's making on his event space that is just for weddings. He's like, I'm making like $7,000 just per event. So
what did it for me is my sister had a baby shower this summer, and so her best friend planned it all and I helped out. So the event space, she had 2 baby showers. So the first one was a really nice event space, and the owner was there the entire time for the baby shower. And I just realized the owner, did what she had to do to set up for, what she had to do. But she sat there the whole time, didn't do anything as we enjoyed ourselves and made a lot of money off of us. And that's just one event. And I was like, I can only imagine.
I could do this better is what you said. You said, I could do this way better. That's what you're a businesswoman. So you're looking at opportunities and you're saying, we paid this for that. I can do it better and have a better experience and make more money, and people will pay for it. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So that was like kind of the light bulb for me. Like, okay, wow.
That's funny that you mentioned that. That's so everything I look at is like so the reason I said that is the house I'm in right now is a flip. that I moved my family to short term while I'm building my house. Why this house I bought to live my family, and I Airbnb'd it for $600 a night. The house that I'm building, will only live in it for like a year, and we'll rent that out as an Airbnb. And that's the only reason I bought it, is because I can do it that way and make lots of money and have a bunch of different houses.
Right.
So you're right on track. Exactly. And probably the reason you want something in Colombia is because you like it there and you want to go back there and have a place there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm 100% on. I think me and my wife, we call it lifestyle investing. We're like, with the apps like Turo, you can own a ridiculous car that maybe doesn't make sense for your budget, but because it's paying for itself on the side, you buy something. Right. It makes sense. Now it makes sense.
Right. And I think that's awesome. That's your goals. I know when you said you had 250 units and then being able to live here temporarily while something else is being built, that's goals for me.
Well, I think, you know what, listen, if I told you, and we're talking to each other as investors and as people, I'm just further down the road, and I'm telling you, I was not as far as you were when I was whatever age you are. I'm just telling you, my last 10 years has been all my success, right? And so success can happen very quickly, as if you're on the right path and you work the right routine, the right recipe. And that's obviously that what that looks like, because everything you're touching is turning into success, because I can tell you're a hardworking person just by watching your YouTube videos. The fact that you edited them, the fact that you're doing DIY stuff.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration to people out there. They should, as I'm coaching flag football or not flag football, I'm coaching basketball, and I'm participating as a kind of a coach in flag football, not trying to be, but I'm getting reeled in. And I learn a lot from these young kids. They don't really have the I can't. They have the I want to. Just put me in. The I can't comes from their parents. And you've got the I can do, which I don't see a lot anymore from even sadly, the younger generation. I think it's getting out of us. So I think your journey should be inspiring to a lot of young professional people who are seriously, they just went to college, or they're in their career path and they're not happy with where they're at right now monetarily. They have a lot of debt. They have a lot of stress. They have a job. You've got an Airbnb in Colombia. You're flying all over the country. You've got a YouTube channel earning you money on the side. That's passive income in its best form. Each video is like a rental property. And right. And you understand that. And plus there's opportunities for all the people that you're meeting. I would have met you without YouTube. I wouldn't have met a lot of people without YouTube. And so it's just a really exciting time, and it's a very interesting time at the same time, right?
Yeah. You know what? It was thanks to YouTube. Like you said, I guess I never thought about it as a rental property, but yeah, passive residual income. And last year, obviously everybody was on lockdown, and that's when I knew I was extremely grateful for YouTube, because so many people are forced to be at home now, and to watch my channel is 100% free, but it's gaining, I'm gaining from you sitting there watching me for free, but we're both winning. You're learning from me, and then I'm getting passive income.
Everybody's winning. Google's winning. You're winning.
Right. The advertisers pay Google for their ads,
People who take action are winning. That's up to them to take the action.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And that's what you did. You took action. So I just want to make sure, because I don't want to take too much time. And I have a couple questions that are really important. What are some of the mistakes that you've made, and what have you learned from them? And what are some of the fears that you've had, and how have you gotten past them?
Some of the mistakes I've made mainly circle around negotiating. So I feel like in business and sales or whatever, you just really have to, like you said with the subject to deal, he or she who knows more wins.
Right. 100%.
So even though I didn't know much, I knew more than someone else, right? So that's just, to me, what negotiating is, just being firm, more firm and confident in my numbers and things like that when it comes to negotiating, because you know, money, like you said, is a teacher. When that first deal, I was extremely happy with what I made. I had a $10,000 assignment fee.
Awesome.
On
That's
your first
awesome.
deal, you know, like,
Yeah, listen. Wow.
so although it could have been more, but you know, so knowing that, I just learned. So one,
It could have been less.
you're right. You're right. So don't short myself, you know, be very firm and confident in the numbers to maximize profit. And then also, when it comes to wholesaling specifically, don't be in a rush to get rid of it. And that's how that one went, because it was my first one, because I was like, I know the name of the game is like, don't hold on to the contract, just flip it in a couple of days or whatever. So yeah, so just I learned from there quickly not to take the very first offer, you know, typically, or just wait it out and then get the absolute best offer.
So I'm going to ask you a question for myself as a new YouTuber, like as a guy, like think of me as an infant in a real estate career, but I'm an infant YouTuber because I've learned so much in the last 6 months, as you probably know, and but I've still got so much to learn. What advice do you have for people like myself, people getting started? What things would you tell them to do? What things would you tell them not to do?
In YouTube specifically?
Yes, specifically.
Okay. That's a great question. This is actually one of my favorites. I do love talking about YouTube and becoming a YouTuber. I think
that's where I found you. That's why I know you're really, really good at it.
yeah. I personally feel like, this is an aside, I feel like everybody should have a YouTube channel. Literally, honestly. But
I'm telling everybody that now. I'm like, yeah, I was a 10-year absent from social media. Like, I'm not dealing with social media. I don't care.
Yeah. Now you realize and you see.
I was just being ignorant. You know what I mean? I was just like, I didn't realize the power of your personal brand these days. And like, you could be as successful as you want. If everybody else is out there who's less successful talking about it, they're more successful.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely,
that took me a while.
Some of the like logistical things, or like the practical things, for me, from my experience that I know, posting consistently, which I know that you do. So posting consistently and frequently, especially starting out. So like I said, starting out, when I got serious about it, I was doing 3 times a week consistently. So, you know, my videos are just me talking to a camera. So all I would have to do is change my shirt and spend like, you know, I don't know, 6 hours or so on one topic. 6 hours, talk about a topic, change my shirt, talk about another topic. And these are 6 videos. Wow. So I would pre-plan like that. And so that way it's just sitting there ready for me to like schedule and post.
And scripting, how are you on that? Did you have a script ready to go?
I never have a script. I just have topics. So
okay.
I know, like my video, like I mentioned that I talked about my first wholesale deal. It was just talking. It's just me talking. I never ever have a script. I'm just talking. Even when I do my language videos with my mom, there's no script. We just know what we want to talk about, you know?
Yeah, you just guided bullet points where you're going with the conversation.
Exactly.
Scripted is a lot more boring and unauthentic. I agree.
Yeah, it's not real. And I think people can sense that.
Right.
So that's another thing. So on top of being consistent and frequent, I would say just be real, like just be yourself, you know? And of course, I know you're not trying to be anybody else, of course, but I think that other people who get into whatever type of industry, like the beauty industry specifically, like fashion on YouTube, they try to be like who they thought or who they think is successful. Let me just do like them and it'll catch on. Nope. There's only one you. So that's what people will gravitate to and want to see.
But I do still struggle with that. Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, in certain things where the topic is something that, you know, my guy will be like, we need to, this is a well-researched topic. People want to know about it. It's trending. And if I'm uncomfortable with it, it just doesn't come out right, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing too, I would say, it wasn't a tip, but kind of what you just said kind of reminded me of it. There's nothing new under the sun. So what I'm teaching on my channel is not new, you know? And I personally, I never went to somebody else's channel. And to be honest, I don't even know that many YouTubers. Like I don't really use YouTube I just use it for entertainment. But so, yeah, so I don't do research on, what other wholesalers are out here on YouTube and doing, what are they talking about? So I say that to say that there could be 400,000 videos on, let's see, a topic that I just talked about, how to set up an Airbnb.
Right.
Right. But it's okay. Like, I just basically don't be afraid to reinvent the wheel, because that's where I said your personality and who you are comes through. Because you and I could say the same thing. We could actually have a video on the exact same thing, and it'll trend differently, if that makes sense. You know?
Right. 100%.
So I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, but I just speak from experience, make it real. On the other side, and I know for you it'll resonate. So there's a lot of tools that you can use behind the scenes to just help you, as far as, like I said, using tags on YouTube and titles and descriptions and things like that. When you get comments, you have to pin a comment, you have to love a comment, you have to reply to comments. Just knowing certain things like that. So I use TubeBuddy. So I don't know if you've heard of TubeBuddy.
Yes, I have. I think that's what we're using. We're either using TubeBuddy or Tuber or something like that.
Yeah. So that I use that to find trending tags.
I'm pretty sure that's what we're using. We've switched a couple times.
Yeah, that to me has worked amazingly. And it's, when you use TubeBuddy, you can. So the few times that I did go look at another wholesaler's page, I could see, which are the tags that, made their video successful. So that's kind of the behind the scenes, making sure your description and your title have those catchy words that will trigger the algorithm to post your video, making sure that your subscribers are sharing your content. You share it yourself, share it, comment, like, and save. All of those things are important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, so the criteria to get monetized. Are you monetized on your channel yet?
Yeah, we're over 1,000. Just crested.
Yeah. So the criteria is I think pretty minimal. So 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and some third thing I can't remember. So what I did, and my friends and family, bless them, they would like put my videos on repeat. They would fall asleep to my video, you know what I mean, to get my watch hours up.
I understand 100% what you're talking about. It's playing everywhere all the time.
Yes, all the time, on your iPad, your phone, your YouTube TV, you're everywhere.
Everywhere we're going. Why
my friend was like, I just put you on mute and I go to sleep.
That's it. There you go. More time.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do. And that's the thing, is people understand, sometimes you got to push the ball down, to get it going.
Yeah. Do it yourself sometime. I have my own videos playing on repeat. So,
now with real estate, on that same question, what advice are you going to give to somebody who's, like I said, brand new? Either they're, a lot of my audience is super young. Some of them are in the UK. It's really funny, but a lot of them are in the UK, actually. Not some of them, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like 7%. But a lot of them are really young, and they always say, how do you get started? I've been started so long, I kind of forget what it was like. And I'm not saying, and I know your journey's at least how many years now? 5 years now. So what are you going to say to somebody brand new who's like thinking about getting started in real estate? What is it provided for you? Why would you tell them to get started, and what not to be afraid of?
Okay. That's a great question. Probably my most asked question. Although I started in wholesaling, it's kind of like what you said about college. If I knew about X, I probably wouldn't have done that. And it's about your resources too. So if you have the money to get started in rentals, that's kind of where I would start, and specifically with the shared spaces like Airbnb, Vrbo, because this is the lowest barrier of entry to me. It doesn't take the grind of writing postcards. It doesn't take the grind of knocking on doors and driving for dollars and cold calling.
It's a grind for sure. Wholesaling is a grind.
That is a grind. And it's I think the way I like to describe it is like you're on a hamster wheel. So if you're wholesaling, you're starting with nothing. The first check you make is going to go back into the business. And like with any business, right? But it's just like you're always chasing that next wholesale check.
You got to scale, and you got to reinvest into real estate, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
What you did. You became a wholesaler. Now you're becoming a real estate investor.
Exactly.
Scaling your business, and now going into other markets, places that you probably never thought when you went to that seminar 5 years ago that you'd even be talking about, but it was a possibility because you started.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, so the way that I do Airbnb is the rental arbitrage method. So I don't own any of those properties. And that's why I
They're
say,
all leases.
yeah, exactly. It's the lowest barrier of entry.
Dara, you are a smart, smart young lady. I can tell you, like, I'm really glad that you took the time to talk to me, and I got a few more questions, but you're just super smart, super solid. Just keep whatever you're doing, whatever you.
Yeah.
There's certain people I always say that to. I'm like, that's why I like YouTube, is because I started my sales career kind of like the same way YouTube is, like talking to successful businessmen. And with YouTube, I get to talk to other successful people on their journey that I would never, ever have the inclination to call. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. I want to make sure, why I'm saying that, I want to make sure I don't miss anything so I can wrap it up. Oh, I wrote down one thing. I was doing my research. I saw that you're starting TikTok, and I happen to be a really decent TikToker, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And yeah, because that's the only thing I could figure out. Like, I started like on social. I knew that I wanted to start with TikTok because YouTube was going to take a long time. So I'm not like a big guy. I got like 24,000. Okay. So it's small, but it's something. And
Yeah.
compared to YouTube, it's like, I'm like a god, So,
Yeah.
so I would just tell you that the biggest thing I can tell you is you're going to figure it out. You know it. And take Robert Benjamin's course if you want a free course on it, or not a free course, if you want a course on it, or take his YouTube channel, Robert Benjamin. He's super sharp about it. But it's the same deal. The biggest thing on TikTok that I've seen people blow up on, that is harder for me to do because I don't have dance moves, is honestly when you write a trend on TikTok. Like, I've done like a laughing video of me, like just saying like ha ha ha, like 300,000 views.
You're like, what? Like, yeah.
I like get up in the morning, you like gained 1,000 followers. I've never had it's much easier to go viral in that platform because there's less users, and you're supposed to break up
chunks of 15 seconds. People can digest that.
Right.
Easier.
Right. So. And if they're here, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you subscribe to Dara's channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Troy Kern's channel.
Yes.
How can they find you on all your socials? Where are you at?
I am on YouTube, and I am on Instagram, Facebook. I don't really use it, but so on YouTube, it is my name, Dara Abasuté, for all your real estate needs. And then my lifestyle, travel, hair, and dance is Dara Does.
Okay.
On Instagram, I am at the Don Dara, TheDondara, and then we can have that link to pop up somewhere.
We will put it all up there. I really appreciate you taking the time. If they want to get a hold of you, are you offering them anything? Is there any coaching that somebody can, purchase from you? Do you have anything that you're selling to our audience if they want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Another top question of mine is, hey, do you mentor? And I personally do not mentor. Sorry, but I don't do one-on-one mentoring, but I do one-on-one consultations. So we can hop on the phone as many times as you would like. That can all be found on either my Instagram or any one of my YouTube videos. There's a link to schedule a call with me. It could be about real estate investing, specifically wholesaling. It could be about becoming a landlord, fix and flips. And now I just opened up an Airbnb section. So if you want to learn about that as well. And I also do have a wholesaling course. It is 100% online at your own pace. And that can also be found on my YouTube and Instagram. So that's A to Z, kind of like literally what my mentor did to me. I'm teaching you how to fish. And I think that was the most helpful thing that I could have ever done. Yes, it's great to like get in and partner with somebody on your first deal or so, but I feel like you don't learn as much that way.
Right.
So that is what that is. It's a self-paced online course about wholesaling from A to the closing table.
Well, awesome. Well, I think that just having watched a lot of your videos when I was very young, knowing a lot about real estate myself, I would suggest anybody who's watching this video, definitely pay for that course, definitely get that education. That stuff is invaluable. I'm sure a $10,000 check is just a glimpse of the kind of money that you've made in real estate. You got a big smile on your face. So I'm guessing that that's true. You're buying, and you're talking about buying properties in Colombia. So I'm pretty confident that your trajectory is very high. Thank you so much for taking the time on a Saturday. And when I wanted to let you, we're starting a podcast. It's going to be actually, I'm buying a building out here in Kansas City, but we're setting it up in Vegas because I'm going back there like every month. If I know you're back and forth all the time, if we could ever have you come in as a guest, I'd love to have you in person for sure.
I would say that because I did hear that you moved out of Vegas, but since we can link up in Vegas.
Oh, I still got my house there.
Okay. So. Never
my Raiders tickets, everything. So we're still.
There you go.
Our plan is to eventually sell that house, build another custom. So kind of do, like I said, that lifestyle thing.
Right.
Florida, Naples, Kansas City, and Vegas. So that's the plan. And maybe more. We have a house in New Orleans too. And if you ever want to go down there, it's on me. Go ahead for sure, 100%.
Oh, nice. I love New Orleans too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can check it out. You can just do it. I can send you the link. If you ever want to go down there, it's on me 100%. And just let me know.
Yeah, well, I would love for us to meet in person. I thank you so much for reaching out.